Thank you all for joining today. We really appreciate your time. I'm Marlon. I'll be mediating today's webinar. We have Nestor here for tech support and most importantly, Dorothy, who is our trade lead and our expert advisor who will be working with any trade professional joining today. But before we get started, I'll just share a little bit of information on who we are, who Form is. We offer made-to-order cabinetry that's all manufactured in Germany. So we've got some pretty cool internal features and lots of sizes to work with. We also provide complimentary design services for homeowners. But we offer all this without the showroom markup, which usually saves our clients up to 40% on our cabinetry. And yeah, so again, thank you all. We'll just start off with Dorothy here. And what is our trade program, Dorothy? Can you explain a little bit about what the trade program is here at Form?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I'd like to just say hi to everyone and welcome. We're excited to share, about our trade program today. So our trade program is a technical design service as well as an affiliate program that's tailored for trade professionals. And our goal is to streamline the process so that it's a better experience for our trade partners.
Okay, very, very nice. And who qualifies as a trade professional for our program?
So anyone who was a registered architect, interior designer, developer, real estate professional, anyone working within that space who needs millwork supplied. We're happy to, work with anyone across the board.
Okay, so mostly like in the business of home, have their own practice or just looking for a client. Okay, and how can a trade pro get started with us, and what will you need from them to get an initial estimate before moving forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. So best way to start is by emailing us your plans and elevations. And we're going to jump on a quick Zoom so we can talk about project details, get you samples ordered, and also at that point we'll be able to provide some preliminary costing for your project so you can get an understanding of what our costing is like. And then once samples are received, we would then want to jump on and get into a more detailed estimate proposal with you where we can really help you envision what your space will look like. And then to move forward into the design process, that's when we ask for your trade deposit, which is 5% of that initial estimate.
Okay, and just to be clear, these are the size samples that we provide. We've got about over 50 different finishes to work with in our collection. This is an anti-fingerprint finish, which is very similar to a Phoenix material, as well as lacquered laminates and other textures and melamine surfaces. But once they decide to move forward with the 5% design deposit, what will this process look like?
So that's when we will start generating, your initial design package, which includes shop drawings and standard renderings, as well as an itemized breakdown by cabinet, including any interior organization items, any lighting items, anything that would be detailed into that design. And when that's ready to present, we'll jump back on a Zoom call and walk through that in detail.
Okay, and who's usually involved in these calls?
Typically, it is us working with the trade professional, whether you're an architect or a designer. We are opening it up to having homeowners involved. We understand that they're very important players in the decision making, and we want everyone who's making decisions to be at the table. It helps expedite the process, which is an important part of how we work on the trade side.
Okay, can you show us an example of like what that presentation looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So here you will see what our standard renderings look like, and this is just generated using our kitchen design software program. There are available photorealistic renderings. If that was an important element for presentation, we can also provide those as well. So just a couple different views of your renderings, and then we get into a plan, and this is more for measurement confirmation for on-site conditions, and then we'll be showing your wall elevations, island elevations, and then just to speed ahead, you'll see the itemized breakdown of cabinets with any interior items, followed by, your final cost at the end.
Okay, nice. So detailed line item, completely transparent pricing. And I imagine we can also step into revisions if things need to scale back or if they need to incorporate other features, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 3 revisions baked into the process, which we typically find is more than enough to get you to a place where you are design approved. The most important thing is the level of communication we have up front so that we're completely understanding what the design intent is, what the end use of the space is, so that we can, hopefully at the initial design stage be, providing what you're looking for. But then you have revisions are there to work through for sure.
Okay, and what does finalizing the order look like, and how is that usually handled?
So after you are design approved, we do have an internal process for reviewing, and it's really a wonderful tool, we believe, because everything is made to order in Germany. So before we go ahead to build anything, and before we start manufacturing, we have multiple eyes on your order to make sure everything is ticked and tied and exactly how it needs to be before we start building. So that will be kind of the first step. And then once you are through that review process, we kick into manufacturing. Manufacturing is about a 6 to 8 week lead time, and then shipping is about a 6 to 8 week lead time, depending on where you're geographically located.
Okay, so lead time is around 3 to 4 months for production and delivery. Very good to know. And the typical design time when working with a trade professional, what's that time frame look like?
So we're typically turning around that initial design in 1 to 2 weeks. And then, depends on, the level of revisions. It depends on any changes that might be asked for, if anything happens on site that needs to be accounted for, but we're typically turning that around in about 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. Very, very cool. Very fast. A lot faster than our homeowner route.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our cabinetry is also shipped fully assembled, which is part of the quality control before it leaves Germany. It makes it an easy installation. It cuts labor costs. And essentially, they're all modular units, so they are an easy install. And we offer tons of support with that outside of the design phase. But Dorothy, what are the trade incentives here?
So trade incentives, we begin at a 15% discount, and then that builds as your business with us builds. So anything over 100,000 bumps up to 17.5, anything over 200,000 bumps up to 20%. And then, if you are working on multifamilies and larger projects where you are able to fill an entire shipping container, then we would be discussing additional discounts that can range from 30 to 40%. So, that's something that we would discuss during that initial consultation.
Okay, nice. Very cool. And okay, so why should say a trade professional already has their vendors, right? Most people do. Why would they choose to work with us here at Form?
That's a great question. I think what we're doing in the market is really interesting. We're providing this high level studio quality of European cabinetry at this discounted price because we're able to cut out that showroom overhead. We also have, our design services, which are baked into our process. So you'll get to work with, people who are experts with European cabinetry systems, who are well versed with our product assortment, and will be able to provide that additional support for you, maintaining your design intent, but you can kind of lean into that design service as much as you need. And then the assortment that we have available is really unique in that we have over 3,000 different sizes. So what that really allows for is for us to build into your space, make it feel really cohesive, built in without ever having to even customize a cabinet, really using minimal fillers. So you just get a really, beautiful finished look.
Okay. I mean, with 3,000 standard sizes, it kind of sounds like we can basically do anything. But say there's something a little more complex in the design, right? Is there room for customization? And how does that usually work?
That's a great question. We do have the ability to customize. It will depend, on what cabinet is selected. But, especially for, working with American appliances, we're able to adjust the cabinets as needed to, build into those specifications. So that's, that would be discussed on a case-by-case basis for that project.
Okay, and you just mentioned appliances. At what point do we need appliance information when working with us?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of the times people have appliances picked out pretty early. Everyone's aware of the current lead time and landscape. And if something is paneled appliance, we would need those specifications, while we're working on the initial design, because everything is going to be really specifically built around the appliance. If it's a slide-in appliance, there's a little bit more room to, make changes later on. So, yeah, it would just depend on what those appliance nominations are.
Nice. Okay, cool. Okay, and say outside of, like, say maybe the kitchens are designed by the trade professional, but like their homeowner is going to will need more design help. Like they're big on the kitchen, they cook a lot, they host a lot, or they're just very particular in regards to what they need. How can we help them out in this case?
So if the homeowner really wanted to be involved and drive the process, we would recommend that they go through our homeowner program, which is kind of the other side of the house. If that were the case, we do have an affiliate program where you as a trade professional would receive 1% earnings on their project for referring them over.
Okay, so just send them through the form homeowner route where they'll get our design experience, be paired with one of our kitchen design experts that will basically just cover every little detail with them, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to get a lot more into, hand holding, so to speak. On the trade side of the house, we know that we're working with, seasoned professionals. We're kind of speaking the same language, and we want to move at a faster pace and get the order as quickly as possible into production. And if a homeowner client is involved, there's kind of more decision making that goes into kind of understanding how the kitchen will work. And our homeowner design team is wonderful at taking people through those steps.
No, yeah, they really are. And I know the homeowner route is typically 4 to 6 weeks long. So in comparison to the trade route where it's 2 weeks on average, if you have a client that needs to move sooner, we recommend going the trade route. But if your client has time and they need those details covered, the homeowner route is the best way to go. So that's really nice that they also get an incentive. And I know that the homeowner will get a discount in that homeowner route, right? If they go through the affiliate program.
Yes, there is the 10% discount, when they're ready to move forward. Their designer would be able to explain that, but there is a great incentive there as well.
Okay, very nice. And okay, so outside of the kitchen, how does it work if, say, a trade professional is looking for millwork for the entire home or the entire project that they're working on? Are there limitations to that, or how far can we
Um,
explore our cabinetry?
Yeah, absolutely. We can provide millwork for the entire home. We have, bathrooms, mud rooms, laundry rooms, office spaces. And we would discuss all of that in the, initial conversation when we're talking about your scope of work. If you didn't want to do your kitchen with us, we can work in just the other spaces. Typically we do have a project minimum, but again, it's case by case. We just need to make sure that the scope of work is large enough so that the logistics of shipping from Germany make sense.
Yeah, make sure that will be a good fit for you. And I know there's cool features specifically for those other rooms. Like laundry rooms have really nice internal things for baskets, and our bathroom vanities, we've got a pretty good collection of that. And then let me see here. So is there anything else that is usually covered in the trade route? What are the limitations in terms of the project minimum?
Like in terms of what that number is, excuse me.
Yeah.
Typically it's around 15,000. There is some wiggle room there. So we kind of use it on a, case by case basis. Yeah, so that would be something we could definitely kind of discuss as it comes up.
Okay. And thank you so much for all that information, Dorothy. Very helpful. One thing that I wanted to bring back up is, all of our engagement is done remotely. And I don't know if any of you who are joining here today are aware of that, but we don't actually have showrooms. That's basically how we offer our competitive pricing. But I'm based here in San Francisco, where our headquarters has a full test kitchen, some test units, and all of our finishes for review. So if you're joining from out of state and would like a quick virtual tour, I'm happy to. I'll be sending a link after to just schedule a quick 15-minute call. Or if you're in the Bay Area and would like to do a studio visit or a lunch and learn, I'll happy to schedule one with you. And then in regards to additional resources that we'll provide, we'll be sending over a trade deck, which kind of reviews everything that we just covered. And there'll be some additional resources there, such as our catalog, which has all of our finishes and internal features and other details. Our case studies, our quality guide is a great study that shows all of the research and development that goes into our cabinetry's fabrication. But one thing that'll be really useful there if you decide to work with us is our size guide. So you can use our size guide and implement those, whether you're working with CAD or SketchUp, but at least you'll have a reference to what we can work with. And that'll also help speed up the design process with our trade team. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add, Dorothy?
Just on the size guide note, we're happy to, convert, from inches and feet into the metric system. All of our cabinets are in the metric system. So we do that for you. So you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of another, initiative that's important to us is, we're walking you through the delivery process, the ordering and delivery process. So we would be introducing you to our customer success team as early on in the process as possible, so that you really have, access to them, to coordinating when the delivery is coming, when the order is arriving, because we know there's a lot of balls in the air. You have schedules that you have to keep to. So that's also another really important part of working, with the trade team.
Yeah. And also if you need install support, if you need an actual installer or need to be connected with a contractor, we can help there as well. But yeah, I guess we have about 8 minutes left. And at this point, I'll just leave question. I'm open for questions if you have any.
Everyone, I'm just gonna jump in here. If you have any question, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. You can type your question there, and Marlon and Dorothy will be able to see it and answer it.
Well, you know what? It doesn't look like there's any questions yet, but one thing that is common, a common question for us from whether it's a homeowner or a trade professional is whether we supply, oh, here we go. How would you collaborate with a builder? You know, depending on the scope of project, you know, we'd first connect with you via email, or we can do a formal Zoom introduction. But is there anything specific you're asking about the collaboration? Is this like, are you working on a development project, or what exactly is your question? Well, yeah, Michelle, if you have any questions, I'll be sending you an email after this with Dorothy CC'd, and we can jump on a quick call if you have any, if you want to get into further details about that. New construction of using someone remote. Oh, I see. Yeah, so we can help connect you with a contractor if you need that, or an installer, depending on your location, and we'll see. Depending on your region, it may be somebody that we've worked with before. But we also have partnered with Build Zoom, and they work with licensed professionals throughout the US. So we can help connect you with somebody through them. You're very welcome. But yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a common question, is regarding countertops. Most trade professionals already have a preferred vendor, or their homeowner has already done some shopping, but we do not supply countertops. For that reason. Any other questions? Okay, well, I guess that's it for today. Oh, there we go. Yes, Monica, I'll be sending you a link to, well, not a link, I'll send you our quality guide and our finish guide as well. So you can see all of the different finishes that we work with, how it's fabricated, and all that research and development that goes into it. So I'll be sending that after this call. And then again, these are the size samples that we provide as well. So good reference to its structural integrity. Well, yeah, thank you all for joining today. We really appreciate your time, and I hope this was helpful and informative. But if you have any other questions, we'll be sending you an email shortly, and we can go from there. Okay. Thank you, Dorothy, for jumping on this call today, and Esther for your support. All right.
Pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Goodbye.